everyone. Welcome to yet another lecture in your history series. And today we are going to focus on the shortest chapter of your entire ISC curriculum, but yet that does not undermine its importance in your curriculum. The chapter, Movement for Women's Rights. And here we'll be focusing primarily on India. And since a lot of you requested that my videos go in Hindi, see, it wasn't on purpose that I did it in Hindi. I know most of you are from ISC background. So I thought ki ISC wale hain, English mein zyada comfortable hoenge, which is why I was talking more or less in English. But then now that the request has come, of course, majority of my videos have been recording. This one recorded, one was left. Let's try. Hindi में बात करते हैं, हिंदी में समझाते हैं, and I definitely know Hindi. In case you all think I don't know Hindi, I definitely know Hindi, and कोशिश करते हैं हिंदी में वार्तालाप करने की. चलो, let's begin the chapter. In this chapter, our focus will primarily be on the time ever since 1970s till date. जब we talk about कि कौन से reforms हुए initially concerning women's rights, okay? What were the atrocities faced by women? And by the way, let it be English, please, because I'm very used to teaching in English. So English chalne do, chalega agar to. Right, so yeah, what were the atrocities inflicted upon women ever since these time? And we're also going to touch upon the stereotypical roles that are given to women and how do you try to come out of those stereotypical molds. हमने set कर दिया कुछ role women के लिए. And after a certain point of time, women were not able to adjust in those roles. They wanted more freedom, they wanted more independence, they wanted more rights. And this wasn't just because one fine day सपना आया चलो आज हमें rights चाहिए. एक wave चल रहा था all throughout the world. Wave of feminism. हमने first wave पढ़ा, second wave पढ़ा, third wave पढ़ा in protest movements. ये feminism के waves चल रहे थे all throughout the world. They touched India also. But India में हम rights demand करें, हम अपने लिए ये कहें कि हमें इतना basic right चाहिए, उससे पहले we have to fight for some other things. क्योंकि इंडिया में the problem is no more about getting right to vote, getting equal pay for equal work. नहीं. The problem was कि जो original हमारी culture traditions चलते आ रहे हैं, how are they impacting the women? And one prominent thing was, of course, dowry. That is what we will talk about. You know, not only India, but predominantly in India, sexual harassment. Okay? You have cases of rape. Dowry deaths is something we've already touched upon. Acid attacks. So, traditional notion को आज तक follow कर रहे हैं. When we know that change is the only constant, we don't follow it. Change हो रहा है, the world is moving ahead, but we are not changing. हम क्या कर रहे हैं? जो पहले roles थे, हम women को उसी role में रखना चाह रहे हैं. But that's not the case right now. Time changed, and with that, a lot of things changed. Come what may, time change हो या ना हो, ये चीजें कभी भी justified नहीं थी. Okay? So let's talk about movement for women's rights. कैसे ये agitation उठा? How did this issue come into light? Of course, you can take background as waves of feminism already propagating throughout the world. इंडिया को टच करे ना करे, यूएन की एक रिपोर्ट ने एजिटेशन जरूर स्टार्ट कर दिया था. पहला रिपोर्ट था इंडिया का towards equality, the report of the Committee on the Status of Women in 1974. Okay, and then UN came up with a National Perspective Plan for Women, 1988 to 2000. Among all this report, we saw that women are being marginalized. They are not just dominated, they are practically marginalized. What's your job? Go to the kitchen, khana banao. Give birth to children, rear them, look at their upbringing. That was the only role for them. They were trapped within the confines of four walls, which, after a certain point of time, did not fit with women. They knew that they had certain rights and they wanted to claim the rights. And you know what? All those who say कि dowry है, प्रथा है, हमारा tradition है, उसको affect नहीं करना चाहिए. I would suggest go back to the 8 types of marriages that happened in the Vedic era. And that's where you will come to realize कि dowry is a very, क्या कहते हैं, नया term है, पुराना नहीं है. This concept of dowry has been brought lately. उसके पहले things were not so orthodox, liberal थी चीजें. चेंज कर सकते थे हम उन चीजों को, बट हम ट्रेडिशन के नाम पे कुछ भी करते हैं. ट्रेडिशन है तो ये है, दिस इज कॉल्ड ट्रेडिशन, ऐसे ही चलेगा, चेंज नहीं करेंगे. मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड रिक्वायर्स मॉडर्न थिंकिंग, चेंज थिंकिंग, ओपन माइंडेडनेस, एंड दैट इज व्हाट वी आर हियर फॉर. दैट इज व्हाट द जनरेशन you guys are here for. You know, beside all the study thing that's going on, I would always suggest that whenever you are studying, you guys are students, you guys are learning every day, something new you guys are learning. Try to look at things with a non-judgmental point of view, with a very open perspective. And that's when you will understand things, you will be more neutral towards things. Any which way. So, oh my God. A lot happened. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So the reports they brought out, women are being marginalized. And the shocking factor was that the women themselves had accepted their roles because they did not know anything new. If you don't know that your world exists beyond these four walls, अगर आपको पता ही नहीं है कि आप एक नया दुनिया क्रिएट कर सकते हो आउटसाइड दीज फोर वॉल्स, आप कभी ट्राई नहीं करोगे. एंड दिस इज व्हाट दे वर डूइंग. दे डिड नॉट नो कि वी कैन फिट इन एनी अदर रोल, एंड सो दे केप्ट ऑन थिंकिंग कि हमारा जो रोल है, हमारा जो जॉब है, हम वो ही फुलफिल करेंगे, एंड वी आर प्रीटी मच हैप्पी इन दैट. बट दैट वाजंट द केस. Women were dominated. They were fit into roles which they were pressurized, they were not given rights, they were not given freedoms. And amidst all this, the minute globalization took place, believe me or not, their situation did not ease up. It worsened. Globalization impacted any progress that these women might have made in the past few years of their struggle. The problem of dowry still persisted. Okay, the problem of education for women still persisted. Okay, and even if there were some women who were fighting for the rights, कि you know we want, एक आधे निकल गए, उन्होंने कहा कि we want rights for all of us. The others were quite unaffected. And you would see that sometimes, even in present date, there are women only who are responsible. I won't say totally responsible, but in many cases, even these women are responsible to, let down their, the other women. Okay? Let down their likes. If you come to the lower class, अभी higher class में तो women exploit हो ही रही हैं, dominate हो ही रही हैं, stereotypical role में fit कर ही जा रही हैं. बट लोअर क्लास की विमेन जो थी, उनका तो डबल एक्सप्लॉइटेशन था. पहला एक्सप्लॉइटेशन क्यों? क्योंकि वो लोअर क्लास के हैं, तो ये एक्सप्लॉइटेशन था. द सेकंड एक्सप्लॉइटेशन वाज बिकॉज दे वर विमेन. ओके, सो दिस वाज डबल एक्सप्लॉइटेशन रेंडर्ड अपॉन देम. ओके, SC, STs, OBCs, दलित women. ओके, रिप्रेजेंटेशन इन गवर्नमेंट सर्विसेज तो बाद में आता है, छोड़ दो. Though we know कि हमारे freedom struggle में women were active participant. Mrs. Gandhi, the Prime Minister of India, the first women Prime Minister of India. Sarojini Naidu. All these people, they were the leaders. Mother Teresa. Chalo. India नहीं consider करते हैं. Sarojini Naidu, Mrs. Gandhi. Two prominent examples which led the, led people who were prominent leaders. But just a second, please. Yeah. But we still can't give rights to our, our ladies, the women who are in our families. So ये double exploitation चला, that kept on happening. Then what happened is कि dowry deaths एक prominent चीज हो गई थी. 20th century में तो बहुत prominent हो गई थी. Okay? Child remarriage, अगर बहुत ज़्यादा child marriage, okay, widow remarriage, इन सबको जब William Bentinck और ईश्वर चंद्र वेदासागर ने he tried to legalize and he tried to get permission for these things. Our Indian society was quite agitated against all of this thing. Infanticide हम देखते हैं, female infanticide. इसीलिए आजकल आप जहाँ भी जाएंगे they keep on saying that you can't detect the sex of the kid. Okay? So there were a lot of prominent issues, but yes, one among them was less representation in government and private services. Less representation. And please make it least rather. Not even less. Least representation in government and private services. The women had to practically fight for their rights. 1990, National Commission of Women Act of Parliament brought out 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts. Both amendments mandated the reservation of seats for women in local bodies. Local bodies, yani ki panchayat. Okay? Municipal corporations, municipalities, panchayats. Okay? 33% of seats were reserved for them. That is 1/3 of total seats. Okay? In Panchayati Raj institutions and of course, municipal corporations and municipalities. These amendments also encourage the election of women as the heads of panchayat, that's sarpanch. The amendments also recognize the importance of building the capacity of women elected representative. What does this mean is, हम randomly नहीं कह रहे हैं कि elective women as sarpanch और उसको कोई talent नहीं है कि वो कैसे lead करेगी. Capacity building का मतलब है हम vocational training दे रहे हैं. हम उन्हें ट्रेन कर रहे हैं कि हमें कैसे कैरी ऑन करना है इसके साथ. हाउ डू वी हैव टू कैरी फॉरवर्ड, हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू लीड द मेंबर्स इन अ मेल डोमिनेटेड सोसाइटी, इन अ पेट्रियार्कल सेटअप. हाउ एग्जैक्टली आर यू गोइंग टू लीड. तो उसका वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग, उसका कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग करना था, रोल समझाने थे. Because that is a very prominent role to be a member of panchayat, to be a member of municipal corporations, municipalities, or to be there as sarpanch itself. So uska training ke liye bhi the act talked about. Partially successful, not successful, time tells us. Things were not going in our favor for a very long time. Okay? But हमारे agitations ने कुछ चीजें हमारी तरफ बेंट करी. पहला एजिटेशन 1970s इन दिल्ली, प्रोग्रेसिव ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ विमेन ऑफ हैदराबाद. इनका सेंटर पॉइंट दिल्ली का था. दे स्टार्टेड देयर प्रोटेस्ट. ओके, दे स्टार्टेड डिमांडिंग फॉर मोर राइट्स फॉर विमेन. और राइट्स तो छोड़ दो, इनका मेन एजेंडा था डाउरी. डाउरी की वजह से जो डेथ्स हो रही हैं. Now what happened is, you get married, okay? शादी के टाइम है, जितना दे दिया पेरेंट ने, ठीक है, किसी तरीके से मुश्किल से शादी हो गई. But after marriage, what happens is, the in-laws, I am not generalizing it and at the same time generalizing it. The in-laws, they start torturing the newlywed bride. They start demanding more and more, asking her to get more and more money from her parents' side. Okay? If she is not able to get that money, she becomes a victim of their torture, of their everyday taunts, and in extreme cases you see dowry deaths. और बहुत prominent जो death चलता था ना उस समय, अभी तो कम हो गया है, but at that time the primary reason of dowry deaths was burning the women. कहते थे किचन फायर है, किचन में काम कर रही थी, जल गई. But that wasn't the case. They were burnt alive because of dowry. What is dowry? The price that the bride's father pays to the groom's side upon their marriage. The price has no justification. The bride's father is not going to get that price ever again back. He's paying it. आज के टाइम पे कहते हैं गिफ्ट्स. दहेज नहीं लेते हैं, गिफ्ट दे रहे हैं. बट वो गिफ्ट भी देना बंद कर दो. मत दो गिफ्ट. We don't need gift. You guys are grown up. You guys are, self-dependent, and I'm sure most of you will know. If not now, you will know how to make your earning. You're studying, and you will know how to earn for yourself. But you realize that what do? Market में जाते हैं, सामान लेना है, तो हम शॉपकीपर को पैसे देते हैं, ये सामान ले रहे हैं, ठीक है? तो प्रैक्टिकली तो फिर तो हम दूल्हे को खरीद रहे हैं. दूल्हा खरीद रहे हैं तो दूल्हा तो हमारा हुआ. We have all rights over that person. बट ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है. पैसे भी दो और हमारी लड़की पिटेगी भी, मार भी खाएगी. That is what happens. Okay? That is what happened in the Indian society. You feel bad. You feel that, oh no, what she's talking about. But that is the reality. Okay? And you will see it. Go into the depths of the society that you're living in. And you will see this happens in every other household. कुछ नहीं तो छोटी मोटी टॉन्ट आती हैं. दिया क्या इसके पापा ने? Okay? So this is the reality of Indian society till date. Let alone 1970s. आज भी कुछ चेंज नहीं हुआ. इतना चेंज हुआ है, अब दहेज नहीं, अब गिफ्ट जाता है. Remember that. दहेज नहीं लेते हैं, गिफ्ट लेते हैं. So we had the formation of Progressive Organization of Women of Hyderabad. Then we also had the formation of Stree Sangharsh and Mahila Dakshata Samiti. Mahila Dakshata Samiti played a very prominent role in anti-dowry struggles, anti-dowry fights, anti-dowry movements. इन्हीं के movements led to a lot of changes in acts. Okay? इन्हीं के, if you come to Stree Sangharsh, its campaigns, it made dowry murder a household term. People started considering कि dowry murder भी कुछ होता है. And it is happening in the Indian society. With that, we had the formation of the Dahej Virodhi Chetna Mandal also. Stop taking dowry. Altogether, dowry is totally unacceptable in any form. But there came a demand from the sides of troubled or victimized husbands. कुछ ऐसे भी औरतें थीं जो इन लॉस का नाजायज फायदा उठा रही थी. They were trying to torment their in-laws because of this. So what was happening is कि threaten करके रखती थी, ऐसा बोलोगे तो हम dowry का केस लगा देंगे. तो victimized husbands, they demanded amendment of 498 CRPC, under which technically dowry was like you can arrest the in-laws and the husband without a warrant. Okay? So they demanded an amendment to it. They wanted proper investigation to be done before this was done. Okay? Before, of course, a case was registered practically. Despite this, the year 1990s, we saw an increase in dowry deaths. Amendment हो ना हो, women फायदा उठाएं, एक दो ऐसे निकल आती हैं जो उठा लेती हैं, 1-2% ऐसे निकल आते हैं. But beside that, women were being tormented. Year 1990, International Society Against Dowry and Bride Burning in India. It came out with a report saying 25,000 brides had been killed or maimed because of dowry disputes. Is this a small number? मेरे को तो एक भी small नहीं लगता है. 25,000 brides. A UN report of 2000 said that 1/5 women were killed every day because of accidental kitchen fires. And you know what's being implied over here? Accidental kitchen fires or burning. The time when so much came out for dowry, movements were started, organizations were formed, UN reports came out, constitutional amendments had happened. That was the time when we came up with legal aids, counseling centers, and women's organization to help these troubled women, to help them come out of the clutches of their in-laws. But the problem with the Indian society is कि आज भी Indian society conservative है. उनको चेंज नहीं समझ में आता है और हो भी नहीं सकता है. इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड, हमारा मेंटालिटी हैज बीन डेवलपिंग सिंस अ लॉट ऑफ इयर्स नाउ. तो वो 1-2 साल का थॉट ना थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा, उसको बार बार अंदर घुसेड़ना पड़ेगा, तब जाएगा वो. ओके, सो इवन द women felt कि if I step out, what will happen? My respect would be at stake. My parents' respect would be at stake. I should not do this. And they would rather bear the brunt of what their in-laws were doing with them. This is what is happening till date. But see, that's when even the girl side comes into scene. When the girl is getting married, her parents, instead of telling, go, now that is your home, tell her, now you have 2 homes. You feel troubled in one, you come back to the other. Okay? Change is what the society demands. And change is what we are looking for. Laws alone can't bring the change unless we start at the grassroots level. Okay? Dowry Prohibition Act of 1961 failed. Of course, because it did not make dowry a cognizable offense. Okay? A lot of investigation was happening, only then it became a cognizable offense. But now it is, of course, a cognizable offense. The in-law side is still, the groom side is arrested without a warrant, only on the complaint of the girl. Okay? Yet, it wasn't just dowry. Kitchen deaths were happening. The women were facing acid attacks. Atrocities were also committed by police. When they were, when they were being investigated, you know what happens with women in Indian society. You can't trust men easily. Okay, all the boys out there, I am not generalizing over here, but you know your own categories. Okay, you know it very well. How does it go on around the world? World later, India first, since we're talking about India. So it's not very easy for a woman to trust men. नहीं इतना आसान होता ना तो लड़कियों को ये नहीं कहते 8 बजे घर में. अभी योगी साहब की लॉ आई है, 8 बजे तक कोई भी, 8 बजे के बाद कोई भी कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में लड़की नहीं पढ़नी चाहिए. तो ये सेफ्टी हमें तब महसूस होगी when our girls will be feeling, छोड़ दो कि निकलना है नहीं निकलना, वो छोड़ दो, फील तो सेफ करें वो when they are going out. नहीं तो कोई ऐसे टच करता है तो कोई ऐसे टच करता है. This is what happens with women and girls in India. Women, girls, children, elder women, old age, सिर्फ उनका सेक्स मैटर करता है कि वो फीमेल है, जेंडर मैटर करता है, कोई भी हो बगल में. Okay, so nonetheless, of course, a lot of things were happening at this time. Police were also, not every policeman was good enough to handle the case. Then came Prevention of Domestic Violence Act, Violence Against Women Act 2005, implementation 2006. Things could have been changed, but political scenario में, diplomacy में, and amidst a lot of things do remain same. थोड़ा सा practical हमने change देखा है अपने, if we jump into the real world, and we've seen change because now इतना फेमिनिज्म हो गया है, नाउ पीपल आर गेटिंग इरिटेटेड विद फेमिनिज्म ऑल्सो. क्या यार फेमिनिज्म है, फेमिनिज्म है, फेमिनिस्ट है, वो भी दैट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग. अब उसका भी कुछ एक्सप्लॉयटेशन हो रहा है. बट येस, नाउ दैट women हैव recognized, इम्पॉर्टेंट वॉज कि women recognize, जो वो अर्ली लेट 90s में नहीं कर रही थी, वो उन्होंने रियलाइज किया है कि हमारा रोल है outside four walls of house. We have rights in the government services, we have rights in government positions, and a plethora of more rights. So now that they have recognized this, maybe we are moving towards a better future for women. Let's say, and let's expect, fingers crossed, a safe future for our women. With that, let's put an end to the lecture. For you, important is, I think, Mahila Dakshata Samiti, a few organizations that were formed, which you have all on this slide. Okay, you can take a note of these organizations because they are important. And uske beyond, I know you all can write your answers very easily for this particular chapter at least. क्योंकि ये इतना general chapter है, इतना prominent chapter है कि इसमें हर तरीके का आंसर चलेगा, subjective answer, and you guys will know a lot to write. Just remember the few acts and the few changes, if they brought any changes, and of course a few organization. That is all for this particular chapter. If you guys have any questions related to this, please address. I tried my level best to do it in English. Yeah, let me know if you have any doubts. Thank you so much.